I've heard about this, so I don't know if it's true. Rumor has it, do you have a tool that you use when you're talking? You focus the attention on the doctor or the prospect. You're talking to them, but you use this little thing.
Yeah.
The power of the pen. Talk to me about this little tool and how you use this to keep somebody engaged. Even though you're focusing on them, how do you keep them following what you're wanting to talk about?
Well, this was learned probably as more of a survival method.
Yeah.
This was my survival tool that I had to get me through my first week of sales. And I, to this day, still get frustrated when people say, well, I don't know the material well enough to go out there. I don't want someone to stump me. I don't want someone to ask me a question and I don't know the answer to it. So I'm going to stay and study a little bit more, and then maybe in a couple weeks I'll get out there and go try to make some sales. I need to study more. Well, the power of the pen started there. Because I got flooded. I was drinking from a fire hose, all this medical information that I had to learn, and I believe in sales now. Go out there, jump in the deep end with both feet, and try to survive.
Sales now.
Let's get out there and go now. So many people say, oh, I don't know and I need to wait. So the power of the pen, this is where it came in. The reality was that I didn't know all the information on the paper in front of me. And what I did know was that there's natural reactions that when you place, let's be honest.
Time out. You don't know all the information about the product sometimes.
Well, it's not that I didn't know about the product in its entirety. I was trying to listen and also get out the points that I needed to. And I knew that I had to look at my paper and stop looking at my customer. I didn't want to seem like I didn't know what I was doing. So what I did was I always carry a pen right here, right in my front pocket.
Yeah.
And I pulled it out like this. And what I did was I was kind of tapping it. And I realized that every time I tapped it, the doctor looked down at what I was tapping on. I went, wait a minute, this tool, it's like a toy, he's following it. And so I went, well, I'll tell you what, real quick, the reality is this is the point that we're talking about here, and I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but is this line better than that line? And he was like, yeah, it is. I said, well, hey, that's great. And what I did was I realized that if I took this up and I used this as a pointer, that little eye would follow that every time. And so I would carry that pen with me everywhere, and it gave me an opportunity to look at the product with him. And if I didn't know the material, the exact words that we had to use, I could simply read it with him. I could say, okay, hey, I want to show you this. And I would simply read it with him. He's looking there, I'm looking there. And we're just reading.
You're kind of hypnotizing me.
Yeah, I've actually done that.
Now, does this work with the power of the finger? Like, should your pen be out of ink or something?
No, I think you should always have a pen, and the reason why is because at the end of the day, you are providing an opportunity for them to learn.
Yeah.
But when that sale comes in, let's go ahead and make this something they've been following. Let's go ahead and hit that for them. And so, if you want to order that today, let's go ahead and sign that right now, and I'm going to get on my way.
Now, this isn't a benefit I've ever heard you tell me about the power of the pen, but something I've learned from years of sales is that professionals have a pen and take notes.
Yeah.
And amateurs don't take notes, and professionals get very frustrated when they're in their presence. I've seen a lot of doctors, high-level commercial real estate people, wealthy people, when they're in a meeting, and somebody's in the meeting with them who's not taking notes, it annoys them.
Or nothing in front of them, just sitting like this. Hey, great meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
And there's a study that I read that was interesting in a Harvard Business Review. This is years ago. But executives retain like 3/4 more information than their subordinates. And they take notes, and most of their subordinates don't. And it says the pen, I mean, it's got a lot of power there. It's like a lightsaber almost.
Well, and I think when somebody's speaking, a great way that you can show value without telling them is to write down what they're saying. So if you're speaking and you see me writing down and listening what you're saying, obviously I find value in what you're saying enough to write it down. So have that pen with you, and if you have a question, you can always take that pen back and say, so Clay, when we were talking, I wrote this down right here, and I can reread what you're saying by just using this and saying, hey, that's it. So I can direct you where I want, and this is used as my pointer is all I'm doing.
Now, sales is not warfare. Point number 4 here. Sales is not warfare. Many salespeople feel that selling is warfare. Again, Jerry Vass, he says, many salespeople feel that sales is warfare. The buyer is the enemy, and the words are ammunition. And the seller's advances are turned aside because they are so predictable, amateurish, are amateurish and easily deflected. What he's saying is that these people feel like that they are a salesperson and they're just going to war, just shooting ammo at the prospect. We have all these benefits. We have all these great things. It's just a machine gun approach, and it freaks out the prospect. Best-selling author Brian Tracy writes, approach each customer with the idea of helping them to solve a problem or achieve a goal, not of selling them a product or service. Mickey, what have you done to keep you focused on solving problems rather than approaching sales as a form of warfare like most salespeople?
Well, it's finding the need first and giving an option for that need to meet the end result. And so I like what he said there about not selling a product or service, but finding a problem to help achieve a goal. And I think that's what you have to do. It's always a mentality. You always have to go into it. And before I go into a sales call, and I drive to each different location, but before I go in, I stop in the car and I pull up, okay, what do I know about this physician? What did I do the last time that I was in there?
Yeah.
How was the result, and what can I do to build on or redirect the conversation? So if
you keep detailed notes though from the last time.
Absolutely, you have to, because how am I expected to remember everything? I mean, I'm just a simple guy. First of all, I'm a guy, right? My brain can go anywhere, but I've got to take notes and remember, hey, where did this go last time? If it was good, I'm going to build on it. It's the call continuum. We continue the call from last time.